Hey, welcome to another EUC Learn Along. What do we got going on today? As you can see, I got some VMs up named Intune. We're going back to Intune. What are we going to be doing? I'll give you a hint. Let's power on this machine. Have you figured it out? Not yet? Okay. Anyhow, spoil the surprise. We're going to be doing some Autopilot, enrollment, pre-provisioning, all that good stuff. So I got Win 10, I got a Win 11 template. So with this new updated VMware Workstation Pro for personal use, free license, got the TPM requirement, so I don't have to do anything crazy with that to get Win 11 working again. So I got some Win 10 and Win 11 machines. And let's log in. So, oops. There we go. So we got a computer. We want to get it into Autopilot or Intune, our tenant, whatever you want to call it. Or we want to buy devices from a vendor and already have it in our tenant. So a lot of ways you can do it. If you're buying it from a vendor, they can automatically register it with your tenant. You can Google that. We're just going to do some basic stuff. That way you can mess with it in your lab. We'll do it the long way. Let's see. PowerShell. So if this was out of box, I can open up command prompt, run PowerShell, and just register it to my tenant if I wanted to without logging into Windows. Or we could do it this way. What were the commands again? All right, set execution policy, unrestricted. Yes. We want to install, well, I got some stuff pulled up. Save us some time. There we go. So if you Google or even use Bing, PowerShell Gallery, they got the command for you. You can just copy, paste. All right, we're getting some stuff for Intune. Getting some of that nougat. Nougat. It's like a candy bar. All right, we want to get dash Windows Autopilot. Can't spell. Info. So now if we run the command, we get our hash, and we want to put that into a CSV file. So ctemp intune 3.csv. All right, and let me make sure that directory is there. It is not. New folder temp. There we go. So now we got this file. What do you do with the file? No, I don't want to turn on firewall. We want to import it. Well, we got our There we go. All right, we got that. Before I jump ahead, how do you get here? All right, easy. Just type in Intune eval. Can't spell. Still can't spell. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. Intune evaluation. It's free. So there's two. You got this one, which is a lab kit. I did download that, but I am not using it. Microsoft. Yep, so I downloaded the whole lab kit. It's got the guides. It's got config manager, all that stuff together. I didn't want to mess with this. You can set it up with Hyper-V and all that good stuff. But I've already got an environment set up. I don't need that. All I need is Intune. So we can get Intune. Try Intune free. All right, sign up for free trial. Again, just set it up, put in an email address, you're good to go. So once you sign in, you are licensed for Intune. But you need another license. You need the IntraSuite. That's another trial license. Can't really sign up for that when you search, but when you go to, I think it's devices. Yes, and enrollment. You need to set up automatic enrollment, but when you sign up for Intune and you click on it, you saw that little message that came up? That was there by default. None of this was here. Basically, you click on that link. It will take you to a page to sign up for a trial license. You got a few options, a few different plans. I just selected the top plan, the basic plan. That's all I needed. And once you set that up, we got our mobile device management user scope. We got it set to all, and we're not using anything with information protection, so we got that turned off. Again, just the basic setup. So now you got both licenses. You got your Intune, and then you got your IntraSuite. All right, so we don't need that anymore. All right, so you got your licenses, you got automatic enrollment set up, you got your CSV file. What do you do? Well, most of your work is going to be done right here, device onboarding. All right, so you got your devices. We already got two in here. To save time, because Microsoft is a little slow. All right, we got a Win 10. This one somehow on this page, and this one somehow on this page. Let's explain. All right, so when you import, we're going to have issues like this, the way I got this network set up. Hopefully, it doesn't become too much of a problem. Oh my goodness, it's slowing down. Think we're going to get disconnected from our network. Yep. No big deal. We'll give it a second. This is when you need some elevator music. Maybe my internet went down. About to find out. I think my interwebs went down. Give it a minute. See if it comes back up. All right, back up. Easy learn along. We're back. All right, I forgot where I was. All right, Intune. I'm gonna have to fix this network. Devices. Enrollment. All right, so we got the CSV file. All you do is just need to import it. Basically, you just pick the CSV file, give it a few minutes, and then your device is in here. These have a super long serial number because these are VMs that are spun up and deleted. Nothing else to do. All right, and I went ahead and named these. Just click in here, type it. I got my 111. And I got my 10. All right, so they got a profile assigned. So we'll kind of walk through what you need to do after you get these devices in here. All right. So one, you need a group. All right, I already went ahead and created a group. Autopilot. We're doing user-driven because eventually I want to test out the self-deploying deployment profile. We created a dynamic group. It doesn't have to be. Members. We got these in here. I've already ran these a couple times just to play around myself because I haven't done too much with intra-join only devices. But when you add devices in here, when you go to add them, it's going to be that long string of VMware such and such. So if we go back here, enrollment, devices, basically you click on that. New device is going to be that serial number. Oops. Again, we're going to have these troubles. Oh my goodness. So we'll try to make it quick. All right, groups. Do we need these troubles? Maybe I can just do everything. No, we'll be all right. Yeah. All right, so your members, you create your group. This is a dynamic group, but if you had it set to just a regular group, you would just add in this long string right here. But let's see if we can find the dynamic piece, properties. Dynamic. Where is our dynamic piece at? It's got to be in properties, right? Oh, here it is, rules. All right, so again, this is something easily to Google or Bing search it. It's Chromium-based browser. What are we doing? Autopilot, pilot device group. Microsoft Learn. They're doing some big things. But basically, you can follow some of their stuff. So if you're buying stuff with purchase IDs, you can have all these dynamic groups, all of this automation, all these cool things. Just what we want. Or you could just do it the old-fashioned way. Just create a security group and just add manually. It's all up to you. But anytime I add a device in here, it's automatically going to get added to this group. So I don't have to worry about that piece. So we got our groups covered. We only got one user set up for the tenant, and you're only allowed one user for the license. Thank you. Yes. Easy learn along. All right. And if we go back to devices, enrollment. Again, I like to work my way from top to bottom. So we're just doing Windows. We're not doing Apple, Android. We're not doing anything with corporate identifiers. You don't even have to set this up, but I set up a device enrollment manager. This one, or this person, or thing, can enroll thousands of devices. And again, you click on the link, it tells you exactly what it does. So we're good there. All right, automatic enrollment. Again, you click on that little link. It was real quick. Get yourself another license. You need 2 licenses for this. Got this set up for all. None, because I'm not using anything with this. We don't need anything with CNAME. Co-management settings. If you're doing a co-managed hybrid environment, good luck. But you can set up co-management here. Just put in some stuff. I'm not going to go through it. But you can install the agent, the SCCM client. You can put in the command lines. You can even run a task sequence here. And you can override policies here, assign it, so forth. Again, we're not doing any of that. But you could. Device restriction platform. We don't really have any restrictions. We're just using what's out the box. So if we go to properties, everything's allowed. Personal own is allowed. Nothing's blocked. We're good to go. All right, device limit restrictions. Again, this is default profile. Everything's limited to 5. You can create your own. I'm a enrollment, device enrollment manager, so I can do way more than 5. We won't be doing anything with notifications. You can set up 2-factor authentication with this. I think it's already on by default, but you could set this up and set up a little bit more policies around that. This is new. I don't know. You mess with it. You see if you like it. Devices. We got all our devices in here. Intune connector. I said we go from up to down, but now we're going to go from bottom up. You'll need this for a hybrid environment. So you'll need to set up a connector. When you set up the connector, you'll also need to create a OU. In your Active Directory, you'll need to do some delegation and permissions for this to work. Again, good luck, but it is doable and it's all documented. And when you do a hybrid environment, you need some additional configuration policies. You'll need a configuration policy for the enrollment status page so it doesn't time out. I think that's well documented. If you type in ESP for hybrid environment, it tells you to put in certain values and stuff, and then you'll need a domain policy to move those machines into that OU and so forth. But again, we're doing interjoin. That's the thing. That's what you want to move to. All good stuff. All right, so we're not doing anything with this. We're all going to be running in the cloud. No infrastructure. Everything's here. All right, status page. Again, you got one for default. I've already messed around with this one, but usually by default, it's turned off. It's set to no. So we turned it on. These are the default values. So after 60 minutes, if it's still doing its thing, it will error out. There's your custom message. I can put banana hammocks in here if I wanted to. Don't need to. Just basic message. Turn on logging. Only show pages, device pre-provision out of box. Yes. Block. So you could block. So we're going to be using pre-provisioning. So if you didn't want users to access the OS, because you needed AV agents, you needed, all kinds of stuff installed, you would want to kind of block them out of this. You would turn that on and then set the rest of these as intended. But we're going to turn it off. We don't need it. I'm trying to think what else. Allow users to reset device. I mean, there's some cool stuff in here, but we're okay. All right, that's fine. All right, it's already set to all devices. Deployment profile. So here's the big one. All right, I've already created one. Just basic name. All right, once you set one in here, some of it you can't change. You can change the name. I got this to convert all devices to Autopilot. If you're just importing CSV files in there and stuff, or just run PowerShell, I think there's a PowerShell command you can run. That's what I was telling you before. You can just register it with your tenant without, doing the CSV file. Again, there's tons of ways to do the same thing. So you can do that too. You can Google that, or I'll post it in the little log link on the website. But I just turned this on anyway. Doesn't have to be on. Out-of-box experience. So these two you cannot change once you set the profile. We've hid the license term, privacy settings. If you're testing, I recommend you leave it as an admin account. Then once you're good, set it to standard security reasons. Allow pre-provisioning deployments. Yes. Again. All right. Set to English. All right. And we have automatically set the keyboard device name. So if you look here, I did this on purpose. But pre-configure stuff. Then you can add names. The serial number on these is super long because of these is the way the VMs are. This will not work, so we just use random with the 5 right here. So 5 strings. We only got so many to go, so that's overkill. Anyhow, we got a user-driven interjoin deployment profile set up. Real easy to set up. Just a couple clicks. If you wanted to set up your own, again, it's Windows PC, blah, blah, blah. Yes, no, depending on what you're doing. Self-deploy. Yeah, it's going to crap out on me. All right, you get the picture. Very easy to set up compared to SCCM, Configuration Manager, Microsoft Configuration Manager, whatever they want to be called. All right, so it's pretty much all you need. This is something new. Again, you can play around with it. I don't see the point of it yet. It needs a little bit more work. Again, if you're doing a hybrid environment, you need some configuration profiles. I went ahead and set up a compliance policy. It's not needed. And the compliance policy that we have, if you really look at it, all we have is bare minimum for device properties for OS. So that's a oldest Windows 10 that Intune will accept anyway. No big deal. But you can set a bunch of other things. Device health, security, defender, custom compliance. Do what you want. But not even needed. But you can have a compliance policy. If it doesn't meet the compliance, then it will just not work. If you're having like a personal use devices. They got some old janky Windows XP for whatever reason. Not surprised anymore. Can't run it. But this is what we got. Configuration. Again, it's not needed, but you know, you can set policies in here to do, you know, all kinds of cool things. If you got these templates, so domain join you'll need for, again, the hybrid. You can set up a kiosk. You can do multiple apps now with kiosks, which is cool. Shared multi-user device. And again, some of these policies, depending on your environment, intra-join, they'll work right out the box. If you got hybrid join, you got to get that license first. So keep that in mind. Employee status page will need a custom template, but you know, we can set up, since we're moving away from AD, we can create, you know, our own policies now or import them. FS Logic, they're okay. Can't get support unless you're on the latest version, so it kind of stinks. And you don't get the greatest support from Microsoft anyway, but hey. Set up OneDrive, automatically log into OneDrive, sync, backup, pictures, videos, all kinds of cool stuff, printers. Yeah, just setting policies. So we don't need any. So we're going to leave it be. Scripts we can run. So you got these remediation scripts. You know, create your own script, add it here. Cool stuff. All right, so we're kind of getting away from the autopilot piece, but it all ties in because your deployment could be, you know, you need, you know, scripts to run to remove, you know, AppX programs that you don't want. You need policies to force sign in to Microsoft Edge, you know, whatever. But it does kind of all tie to each other. All right, so what else did we do? Well, we want certain apps to install. Oops. Apps. All right, because that's why we got the employee status page. We want, you know, we could just bypass that and just let the stuff run in the background. But we want to block users out until certain apps are installed. All right, so what do we got? All right, so since you're in Intune, you kind of want the company portal. So we want the Workspace app and Reader to install during pre-provisioning. So to do that, group deleted. Oh yeah, I was messing around in here. Delete, save. All right, so for Autopilot, you need devices in here as required. If you put users, it won't go through that. Trying to think what else. All right, so we got the company portal. So we want these two apps to install during pre-provision. Do I have that other group in there? Yeah, let's fix that. And we're just doing store apps. We already showed you how to do applications through Company Portal and Intune. Super simple. And then we have this one that is set for available, all users. All right. So that's our requirement. That's what we want. We want 2 apps installed for users log in, and then we want VLC to be a fun app that users can install. All right, so we got that CSV file. We'll pretend it's this one. Uploaded. We have signed it. Well, we didn't have to sign anything because we got a dynamic group. But if you needed to, you can assign it to a group that's assigned to the deployment profile. Again, you do what you want. So many ways you can do things. All right, now we'll just restart. So as you see, it had the language up there, but in our deployment profile, none of that was set. We got it to bypass. We got it set to English and keyboards all set up. That's what I wanted to do. So if you wanted to customize let's go to users, groups, all groups. Where's it at? Is it user experience? Company branding. Here we go. So what do we want? We want to do some customization. All right, so if you want it for Win 10, again, you can go through all this, but Win 11, you can do the sign-in form, customize all that. We'll just add a logo. It's too large. Oh, come on. All right, let's anyhow, you get the gist. So Win 11, you'll mess with the sign-in form. Banner. You can have a cool little icon, sign-in screen. This will change for your whole tenant, so you'll see it more than just logging in to the out-of-box experience. You'll see it everywhere. So just careful on that. I don't know why I keep clicking on that. Anyhow, now we don't see the keyboard or language setup. What are we going to do? Let's see if I can remember the user. All right, EUC learn along at EUC learn along. There we go. Should have found a smaller icon. Could have saw the beauty in it. Anyhow, less things you have to manage, less things you have to touch. Probably better anyway. All right, so this, if it was hybrid join, you would need that ESP piece set up for the configuration profile. Otherwise, it would hang there, and then it will reboot, and you would get that domain join. But since we're doing intra, we're going right through it. All right, so right here, this would be installing the SCCM client, CCM client, whatever you want to call it. If you had the co-management turned on to install the SCCM client, but right now it's installing the Intune extension. And that should take just a little bit. And then we do have a security policy. We got that one compliance policy to check. It's got the super old Win 10. We don't need this one anymore. We can power, we can shut down. I don't even know why I use this one. We'll just use this one, because I thought I was going to mess around with the customization, but I'm too lazy. But you can customize a little bit more of Win 10, but Win 11, that's where you're at anyway. All right, so everything's working. So it's pretty simple to set up, especially if you're intra-join only shop, which you should be. Nothing to set up. Everything's in the cloud. And we're just using basic store apps. Nothing crazy. If you got all kinds of crazy custom apps and all that, good luck with installing those. You got to create those Win32 apps. Maybe use the line of business apps. Again, keep it simple. And I think, what is it? Patch My PC's coming out with some cool stuff. They got a ton of packaged apps, AutoCAD, big apps that you can deploy through their new tool. Anyhow, we're keeping it simple. Citrix and Adobe. That's all we need. All right, I mentioned the Shift F10 on these pages. So I could just PowerShell, and I can just type in, whatever the commands are to send the device to my tenant. Without getting the CSV file and all that. So you can do that all through here. And if you wanted to, again, since you got command prompt open, you got access to the OS. We can look at here. So that extension installed. All right, so security policy, no certificates, no network setup. Now it's installing the apps. So I can continue anyway, because in that status page piece, I should have just left this up. Was it the status page? Pretty sure it was the status page. Yep. So if you want to block it, you change this to yes. You have to let it finish. The good thing about this is, since you can open up command prompt, you can do a lot of, there's commands that you can run. I don't know them offhand, but you can, if you got failures or whatever with your autopilot, autopilot deployment, you can run those commands here and it will just live feed you all the things that are going on with the process. And if you got a failure somewhere, it will show up in there. So I don't think we're going to have that issue. All right, so it's doing its thing. I don't know why I keep closing this. Because if you don't know PowerShell, you don't like looking at logs, you can just do what I'm doing. All right, so we got a new app, desktop runtime. All right, so since I know Citrix a little bit, I know that this is part of the Citrix Workspace app, and I'm pretty sure there's some other runtimes that are going to get installed. Yep, that's part of the Citrix Workspace app. Got another one. All right, and I think now it's just installing the Citrix Workspace app. What else can I show you while we wait? There's not a whole lot I can show you because it is pretty simple to set up. Now, if you can't talk to Microsoft, if you're doing this on-prem, probably need to talk to your network/security team about the firewall, network traffic talking out to Microsoft. So there's that. If you're doing a intra or hybrid join, that's probably your issue. If you're doing hybrid join and you're having issues with apps installing, it could be a GPO, it could be a custom app, it could be a bunch of things. But policies can break these apps installing. So if you're installing store apps, think you need to not block store apps from getting installed. I forget what policy that is. I know in registry edit, I think it's called installed app, or is it trusted app installed apps? Yeah. And then I think there's some block admin users for, what is it? MSIX. Anyhow, a couple Google searches and you got it. But policies can't block that. Again, I don't know why I keep closing that. All right, there's our Citrix. All right, and we should be getting Adobe here soon. So we will close it this time. We won't open it. At one installed. Now let's do the other one. You can do endpoint and security in here. There's reports. Let's look at devices. All right, we got a 111 VM. That's compliant. Look at our apps. All right, so this is a little behind, no big deal. But you know what apps are getting installed. You know what group membership is a part of. Labs, hardware, properties. All right, so we did have that device enrollment restriction. Employee status page is the default one. Both passed. Got some basic stuff going in there. Don't forget about these tabs at the top. But probably not the greatest reporting anyway. Mediations. We don't have any policies. We do get the compliance policy. Yep. All right. Basic setup. Now the rest of it's just waiting. This is why most of it was already pre-set up, because it's just waiting. But not too bad. If you need to deliver a little bit more hefty apps, stuff like that, there's other stuff you can do with Microsoft MDT. I think there's some other, I forget what the other one's called. MDT, there's some other way you can deliver apps that need a task sequence. Deliver apps that need a task sequence. Create a task sequence for non-OS deployments. Install package. Oh man, I forgot what it was called. Oh, that's going to kill me. Anyhow, if you're taking your Intune exam, Endpoint Associates, it's all in the prereq and study material, but I forgot. Sorry. All right, so it's completed the device setup. All right, now we're doing our account. Yep, join it to our tenant. No security policies, no certificates, no network. No apps. All right, so with Intra-join, if you do have apps applied to the user as required, it looks like they install. But if you're doing hybrid join, you don't get that. Okay. I think I might have misspoke earlier. All right, it's completed. We don't have any security policies, no certificates, so this should go pretty quick. What are the benefits of this? well, you're not using SCCM, so you can just ship this off to somebody. You can buy all the devices and just ship them off. Have people come pick them up, set it on their desk. They just log in, and as long as you got the orchestration piece of what apps the user needs or what group of people need these apps, you know, just basic apps for each device. You need probably Office, Edge, maybe a PDF reader, maybe not even that, since Edge does that. I mean, you're on your way. No infrastructure to maintain. Pretty simple setup. If you got the money and you're paying for licensing, I recommend you go to it. What else was still going? Get some reports in here. Probably need to learn Power BI, doing some of these reports. Clean up devices. Yep. All right. So I have logged in. Everything's done. Pre-provisioning is done. All right. So we're going to set this up. Well, it's already set up, but if you're a new user, it walks you through the process if you're using Microsoft for two-factor, multi-factor, whatever you want to call it, authentication. All right, so I got the Authenticator app on my phone. I already set that up from before. Create a PIN. Again, you can set all this. You can set all this up, or you can turn it off. You can enable it. You can set all these extra things in here. We're not doing any of that. And I messed that up. Anyhow, by default, it needs 6. I can't type, but we created a PIN. We're all set. Now we can log in. EUC Learn Along, our licensed account. We're good. Open up the company portal. Again, if you were hybrid join, you would need to get a license, so you would have to sign in to a Microsoft app, sign in with your credentials, acquire that license, you're good to go. Intra, it's already done. So I didn't have to sign into that. That's our featured app. We did have it set to as a featured app. I showed you how to do that in the other video. It's not installed, but if you wanted it, you install it. Again, out of box, default image. Again, if you don't want users to have all that, you can use scripts to clean up, get rid of that clip champ, but it's pretty cool. Get rid of the game bar if you wanted to. Mail app. Solitaire. Do what you need to. Pretty simple easy to set up, and it's not too bad. It's not too slow within Intune. Not the quickest, but not too bad. Probably turn these off with those configuration policies. The rest of it don't bother me. Yeah, do all this via policy if you wanted to. All right, we got our VLC. Lickety split. I mean, it don't get no easier than that. Like I said, you're already signed in. We can create some policies to speed this up. Get rid of all these prompts. We can set it to sync. OneDrive, we can configure that. That way we don't have to worry about user documents. All right, let's restart. And that's Autopilot for you. Enter join. If you got hybrid join and you're doing some co-management, this is a little bit more work. All right, and we can set it to do your time zone. See that? Put in our pin. There you go. Cool stuff. Maybe we'll start building on some configuration profiles. Maybe we'll build a kiosk. We'll try to do that self-deploying where you don't need any user interaction. That'd be cool for like your kiosk deployments. You just put stuff out in the wild, and if you have an issue, hit that Windows key 5 times, reset it, back to kiosk, bam. We're good to go. But anyhow, I hope you learned something. Cool stuff. I'm excited. Trying to think what else we can do for the next vlog. Anyhow, hope you learned something.